Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. It's 2025. I'm still being more consistent. So today I want to just jump right into it. It's a topic that I love and it's a type of boot I love, but not everybody does. So 2014, 2015 era, Nike comes along and they introduce what they call a Techcraft pack, right? So they replace their uppers with kangaroo leather most of the time, or Allegria leather, depending on what pack you have. Now, some of them were phenomenal, like the Vapor 10. Some were an abomination, like the Superfly 5. But they took a arguably mediocre boot and made it even worse than an abomination. And I think it's what kind of killed the Techcraft packs. And that was the Phantom GT1. So Nike, instead of replacing the upper or even they just threw leather on top of a Phantom GT1. Like you can see the horrible seam. And if you listen real closely, you can hear kind of how plasticky that material is. This boot is just so thick. It's got so many layers. You can't feel the ball. Layers don't mesh up. It's just a very bad boot. And as much as I think people are intrigued by Techcrafts, I think this killed it for Nike. Then you had Puma with their Puma Future Z or Puma Future Z, depending on where you live, 1.3, 1.4, and they did the Lazertouch. So they replaced the toe box and they laser etched this pattern into the toe box. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but I would say that Puma's execution of this was a little bit better because they took a pretty decent kind of middle of the ground boot, and with their leather upper, it's so thin and so minimal that compared to the normal Future Z, I don't think that you can really tell a difference. So while it's cool, while it looks cool, I think that this is kind of on the fence. It doesn't really do anything right. It doesn't do anything wrong compared to the Future Z, but definitely better than Nike's approach. Then you have who I would call the kings of it, and you have Adidas. So many people would argue that the Predator Edge was the worst boot that they've ever tried until they tried the 94 Plus. Now, Adidas went back to the drawing board. They got rid of their super stiff zone skin upper on top of the prime knit. They replaced it with a good old kangaroo leather. They covered the Pred elements, and I think that you can tell how much more grippy they are. I mean, look at that sole plate. That is just a beautiful looking sole plate, if nothing else. But I think that this was kind of people's reintroduction to that Techcrafts can be good. In fact, some could even be better. And we have to give Adidas props because while I love the Edge, I know not a lot of people do. But I think that this is definitely one to pick up. And then finally, what is king of the Techcraft-esque era is this guy, the Adidas Predator Roteiro. Now, if you watched any of my content, you know that I'm Mr. Roteiro himself. This is one of my favorite boots of all time. And Adidas got rid of the Hybrid Touch 2.0 upper. They slapped Fusion skin on it, which is just leather fused to knit. And when they did that on the same last, it kind of rounded out the toe and gave you a bit more spacing. And the boot just breaks in super well, and just the colorway is beautiful. But I think that this is the ultimate kind of perfection of what a Techcraft boot could be. You also have the David Beckham pair that came out with the leather tongue, but I think the Roteiro personally is better. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you side with me and you want more companies to kind of do these Techcraft-esque, give us leather uppers? Or are you like, no, you've invested all this money, you need to use the regular version, that's what we're here for? Go down in the comments, let me know what your pros are, what your cons are, why you're for one side, why you're against it. And while you're down there, hit like, hit subscribe, smash the notifications, sing the songs, do the dances. And as always, if you've liked what you've seen here and you want to see more, click down here to see more.